Oklahomans with the state's wildlife resources, hunting and fishing, and the activities of the Oklahoma Game and Fish Department. And now Outdoor Oklahoma with Orville Allard as your host.
How would you like to bag a nice big deer like this? One of the largest bucks killed in Oklahoma last year was bagged by William C. Hornsby of Tulsa. It was brought down with a bow and arrow. The deer, field dressed, weighed 148 pounds. This means that before being dressed, the deer must have weighed from 190 to 200 pounds. Well, you may not bag a deer quite this big, but your chances of getting a buck during the 1955 deer hunting season are good. Whether you hunt in the pine forests of eastern Oklahoma, the blackjacks of central Oklahoma, or the cottonwoods of western Oklahoma. Surveys made by the Oklahoma Game and Fish Department indicate that the state's deer population is as good or better this year than it was last year. And last year, nearly 1,500 deer were killed in 39 Oklahoma counties. These surveys are based on the number of deer actually sighted in a given area and deer signs noted by trained observers. These signs may include such things as plants on which deer have been browsing, and deer tracks such as this. There are 3 species of deer in Oklahoma, 2 of which are native, the whitetail and the mule deer. The whitetail is common over most of Oklahoma, while the mule deer are found principally in Cimarron County in the Panhandle. The 3rd species found in Oklahoma is the fallow deer, which is confined largely to the Camp Gruber area. The ancestors of these deer originally came from Europe. This year, the deer season for bow and arrow hunters opens November the 12th for a 10-day period. And as you will note, not all of the archers are men. The bow hunters will do their stalking in the northern half of the Cherokee Game Management Area and the Camp Gruber area in Cherokee and Muskogee counties. A check station will be set up at the entrance, and bow hunters must report there before entering or leaving the area. Each incoming hunter must be able to exhibit both the state hunting license and the $3 deer license. Incoming hunters also will be required to submit their bows to a pull test. The minimum requirement is a 40-pound pull. This bow is well over the minimum. A pull less than 40 pounds could result in wounded deer. Only 1 buck may be taken by any one hunter, and the kill must be reported at the check station. The deer must have antlers measuring 6 inches or longer, or a total of 3 prongs. The length of a deer's antlers, or the number of points it has, does not necessarily indicate its age. The age of the deer is best determined by spreading the animal's jaws for inspection of the teeth. Smoothness indicates advanced age. Another way of estimating the age of a buck is to measure the thickness of the main stems of the antlers. The larger the beam, the older the buck. Game and Fish employees also will check for parasites such as ticks. Bow hunters who stay overnight in the archery area will be required to confine themselves to a general campsite set aside for that purpose. Once the camp is established, some of the hunters probably will spend at least part of their non-hunting hours in practice shooting. These hunters are shooting at paper milk cartons with practice arrows. In the field, they will use arrows like this, strong and durable. This steel arrow point looks like the head of a huge spear, but in reality, it's only about 1 3/4 inches long. To bring down a deer, the bow hunter's arrow should be razor sharp, and to keep them that way, most hunters refile their arrows each time they're used. This is done with a special file and push and pull strokes. And this is the way the arrow looks to the startled deer that walked into view of the bow hunter. For shotgun and rifle hunters in this southeastern Oklahoma area, the season is from November 23rd to the 27th. The season for shotgun and rifle hunters in this area is from November 24th to 26th inclusive, and also in Cimarron County in the far end of the Panhandle. Throughout the rest of the state, only shotgun hunters may hunt deer from November 24th to 26th. There will be 30 ranger check stations over the state, as indicated by stars on this map. Sportsmen who go in search of deer should make sure the area in which they are hunting is open to the public. Some of the game management areas and refuges and all state parks will be closed to deer hunters. Permission must be obtained from the landowner or tenant before entering private property. Safety precautions, especially in crossing fences, should be observed, and all hunters are required to wear bright red upper-outer garments and headgear. Hunting or running deer with dogs, either in season or out of season, is taboo, and guilty persons will be subject to arrest and fine. This is a tired doe. She eluded a brace of hounds by taking to the water and swimming to safety. Both a regular hunting license and the special deer license are a must and may be obtained from any hunting license dealer. Postcard questionnaires will be handed hunters when they get their deer license, and all hunters, whether they get a deer or not, are urged to fill out and mail them to the Oklahoma Game and Fish Department as soon as the season is over. The bag limit for rifle and shotgun hunters is 1 buck deer, the same as it is for bow hunters. Successful hunters must attach the deer license to the buck's antlers immediately after the kill and then report to game rangers at the check station. Shotguns used in deer hunting must be loaded with rifled slugs rather than the customary pellet-type shells. The effectiveness of a high-powered deer rifle is pretty well established, but let's observe the striking power of a shotgun slug. This shows the hole that a 12-gauge shotgun slug is capable of putting into a wooden box. See what a shotgun slug does to a head of cabbage. The cabbage disintegrates like it was struck by a miniature atomic bomb. This is a slug shell. Now let's see what a slug looks like. Here is a close-up of a shotgun slug. Note the rifling, which gives it greater accuracy and effectiveness. is a shotgun shell loaded with pellets. This shell contains number 4 shot, which is ideal for waterfowl shooting, but is illegal for hunting deer. Shotgun pellets, even this size, are forbidden because they're more likely to wound a deer rather than kill it. Shotgun slugs are more capable of dealing out sudden death, but at the same time they're less dangerous than rifle slugs because they don't carry as far. Slugs flatten out like this when they strike an object. So that's the reason shotgun slugs are mandatory if you hunt deer with a shotgun. And incidentally, no shotgun smaller than a 20 gauge may be used. Now let's compare the effectiveness of a bow and arrow with that of a small bore rifle with a light load. The bucket of sand is punctured with small bore rifle slugs. Then the can is turned to show that the slugs fail to make complete penetration. Now, a dull broadhead is shot into the can with a 48-pound bow. The arrow pierces the opposite side, revealing that even a dull arrow has more penetrating power than a rifle with a light load. Now, a sharp arrow is shot into the bucket. It completely penetrates the can, the point extending nearly 4 inches beyond the opposite side. So that's the reason a broadhead arrow and a 40-pound bow are approved for deer hunting, while 22 rifles, 25 20s, and 32 20s are prohibited, along with steel and hard point bullets. But there's more to going hunting, especially in eastern Oklahoma, than just getting a deer. Camping out, cooking over an open fire, and brewing a pot of coffee are part of the fun. And there's nothing like the flavor of coffee made over a campfire. Meantime, if you're going deer hunting, be sure to get a copy of this little folder and bone up on the hunting regulations. Familiarize yourself with the map showing the different hunting areas. Copies of the folder may be obtained from your local licensed dealer or any of the offices of the Oklahoma Game and Fish Department. There's a deer like this waiting for you in outdoor Oklahoma.
Outdoor Oklahoma is a public service feature prepared and presented by the Oklahoma Game and Fish Department. Be with us at this same time next week when your state Game and Fish Department again brings you Outdoor Oklahoma.